Good afternoon. I've asked to give a few brief comments on the extraordinary technology, Vedic technology of Yagya and Vedic Recitation. This Vedic technology is remarkable for its effects. From a scientific perspective, some might say a bit mysterious as to its mechanism. And I'd like to take a moment to explain scientifically, at least from the physical perspective, how it works. First point I need to make is that the entire universe is nothing but vibration. As we have seen in this conference, modern science has come to know the unified field, which is the fundamental level of natural law, the fundamental mechanics of creation, the mechanics through which unity at the foundation of the universe gives rise to the emergence of the ever-changing, infinitely diverse universe. And this fundamental mechanics identified by modern science is equivalent. It is simply the scientific language for the eternal wisdom of the Veda. The fundamental dynamics of unity, the dynamics of Atma, the dynamics of consciousness, the ocean of pure being, and the mechanics through which the ocean of pure being gives rise to the universe. And that understanding is that from this ocean of silence emerges the dynamism of the universe. And the dynamism of the universe are truly just the waves on the surface of the ocean of existence, waves on the surface of the ocean of universal consciousness. And these waves take a particular form, the particular mathematical form of what are called superstrings. This is the scientific language. And these superstrings emerging from the ocean of pure being have the mathematical structure of literally elastic loops. And these elastic loops can vibrate in a vast number of ways, a whole range of energies, a whole range of frequencies. So we have a universe filled with elastic loops with different vibrational energy, which, because of the relationship between energy and mass, means filled with superstrings of different mass. That is the nature of our physical universe. Now, these strings appear to us through our instruments and through our eyes as the fundamental particles of nature. The spin-2 graviton, etc., the photon, the electron, the Higgs boson, the 5 quantum spin types emerging from the ocean of pure being. These are the same as the Pancha Mahabhutas, but in modern physical terms, the 5 quantum spins. But we have to realize that these Mahabhutas and these particles and forces of the universe are just the vibrations, just the waves on the surface of the ocean of consciousness. That is all they are. And from that perspective, our universe really is a symphony. The unified field in vibration, the vrittis of Atma, consciousness in motion, appearing, manifesting itself as the 5 Mahabhutas of the fundamental spin types of the whole universe. So, truly, our universe, even the material aspect of the universe, is nothing but vibration. And it follows, as I will show, that through sound, through vibration, one can transform anything into anything. After all, if the material structures of the universe are just vibrational states of the unified field, it's very easy to change the vibrational state of a superstring into another vibrational state, which means it's very easy in principle to transform a graviton into a gravitino, a photon into an electron, and so forth, anything into anything. This is scientific fact, and we do this in the laboratory every day. If you're a particle physicist and you have an electron, and you decide you'd rather have a pair of protons, how do you go from an electron to a proton? Well, the electron, as we've said, is just a vibrational tone of the unified field. And the protons that we seek are just another vibrational tone or combination of tones of the unified field. So how do we get from one state of vibration to the other? The answer is by the addition of a second frequency through the addition of a specific sound. That specific sound comes in the form of a positron, for example, and that combination of sounds, electron and positron, interact with each other to produce a new set of sounds. And that's how you go from one state of matter to another state of matter through the introduction of sound alone. Let's take a familiar example, more familiar example. Let's say we have finished our lunch and we have plenty of sugar in our blood. We're not so much interested in sugar in our blood. We're interested in the energy that can be produced through the transformation of sugar into water and carbon dioxide. So how do we achieve this? How does the body achieve this all day long? Well, sugar is a molecule that consists of 24 atoms. And each of these atoms, as you can see, is a combination of particles, electrons, protons, and neutrons. But each of these particles, the electron and the proton and the neutron, are themselves just simple tones of vibration of the ultimate reality, of the Atma. So the atom looks like this, a combination of frequencies, a complex chord in musical terms. So the oxygen atom is simply a complex chord, a complex bundle of frequencies of vibration of the Atma. So, how do we go from sugar, which is one complex combination of tones, to a desired combination of tones representing water and carbon dioxide? It is through the addition of a second sound, a very carefully chosen bundle of mantra, a bundle of frequencies. And that bundle of frequencies comes in the form of oxygen. It's very straightforward. And it shows that, just another example, we could take any example in the universe and conclude the same thing. Through sound, you can transform anything into anything, because the universe is, and everything in the universe is nothing but a bundle of sound. Through the addition of further sound, transforms into a new sound. Now, chemists know how to transform sugar into water. The more challenging task would be to transform misfortune into fortune, disease into health, poverty into abundance. So the Vedic science of sound is the application of the mantras of the Ved in specific ways to lead to a specific result. In this whole science of the use of mantra contained in the science of Brahmana and Kalpa and so forth is a marvelous science that we could call the chemistry of sound. What sound do we need? What ingredient is required to transform what we don't want into what we truly need for society, need for the individual? That's the Vedic science of sound. It's absolutely marvelous, and there's nothing like it on this earth. There's one more point, though, I would like to make, and that is the importance of yoga, that is transcending, to make sound powerful, to make yagya powerful. So yoga, as we've seen, are the classical, powerful Vedic technologies to take our surface level of sound and surface level of mind to deeper and deeper levels of mind, exploring the finest, most powerful levels of mind, transcending those to experience the Atma, the home of the Veda. For one reason this is so important is because the experience of the Atma in Samadhi transforms the brain, as we saw in real time early this afternoon. It brings the integrated activity, the coherent functioning of the total brain. And it's the use of the entire brain that makes sound powerful. not a sliver of the brain, which we normally engage in any activity that we do, the entire brain, the wholeness of consciousness. This yoga achieves. So you see the whole brain, from the front to the back of the brain, the entire brain functioning in concert, in coherence, in a very powerful way. And the other point of this of yoga is deeper levels of thought, finer levels of sound are more powerful, much more powerful. This is a fundamental principle of physics. It's the same reason that nuclear power is 1,000,000 times more powerful than chemical energy. And it's simply because the nucleus and nuclear transformations are 1,000,000 times smaller than the chemical transformation of molecules. So the deeper you go, the more powerful you become. So if we are speaking the mantras in a state of fatigue, in a state of stress or agitation, this coarse level of speech is represented by a characteristic frequency of some tens of hertz. If our desire is to transform lead into gold, take a rock and transform it into gold using sound, using speech, it doesn't matter how loud you shout at the stone, it will rarely transform into gold. The real purpose of this is that the significance is taking thought and speech to a deeper level. Deeper levels of mind at the megahertz and gigahertz and terahertz level. It's on the terahertz level that the molecular and nuclear structure of a stone exists. If you're not speaking to the stone on that level, you're not speaking that same language. You're not speaking the language of nature. The language of nature is really on the level of the Atma, and speech arising from that level. Now, the relationship between speech and nature has now become clearer. The different levels of speech, levels of sound, levels of mind, from Vaikari to Madhyama to Pashanti to para-transcendental, relate directly to what we call surface or classical physics, then to the molecular level, atomic level of quantum mechanics, then to the nuclear and subnuclear level of quantum field theory, and then the para level of speech, the Atma level of consciousness, is the level of the unified field. So practice of yoga takes the awareness through these deeper levels of reality and takes consciousness to the level of Veda, Atma. And where you want to be for Vedic recitation is just here, on the level of Atma emerging to Pashanti, a fine feeling level of speech, for two reasons. One, the deeper you go, the more powerful speech becomes. The deeper you go, the more powerful mind and thought become. More powerful and also less localized. Coarse speech only travels as far as you can hear it. Finer levels of nature, at the quantum mechanical level, this locality is transcended, and you can truly have non-local influences that could affect an entire nation, that could influence the fruit of the yagya at a great distance, that could uplift the whole world. So the conclusion is that yoga, transcending, make Vedic recitation and yagya truly powerful, and that through the combination of yoga and yagya, one can literally transform anything into anything, suffering into peace, disease into health, misfortune into fortune, Kali Yuga into Sat Yuga, 2015 into Ram Raj. And that is the basis. That is what the basis of what we call the Global Peace Initiative. And this is the reason we are establishing, as we've heard today, actually not only 9,000 Maharishi Vedic Pandits at the Brahmana of India, but at least 18,000, as we heard today, almost 300,000 Vedic Pandits skilled in Yoga and Yagya to take India and the world today from what it is to literally a heavenly world. Ram Raj in our generation. Thank you.